So today, answering your questions, this one's for Rob Dugdale. He messaged me saying, can you show us the process by which you write harmony parts and how you do your backing stuff? I thought, okay, great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use GarageBand here, and I'm going to record. I've just written a chord sequence here with some words, some sort of cheesy words about love. Everything's about love, isn't it? And then I'm going to harmonise that. So I'm going to literally go from the very beginning. There are timestamps in the box below, so if you want to fast forward to various bits and pieces, then please feel free. But I think it makes a difference if you're just starting something from scratch and you can sort of hear things evolve as you go. So I'm going to just have some acoustic drums. I'm going to play in a rhythm that's kind of a verse rhythm, if you like, and then do a chorus one. So let's have, yeah, let's try 92. Yeah, see what that's like. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe yeah, actually, just to save time, I'm going to record it a bit faster. So once I've worked out how to play the drums properly, we can begin. So there we go. Had a little moment there. Okay, now I'm back into my verse. So that will have quantized automatically because it's the first track. I shall just double check that that's done that. Yep, 16th note, that's fine. Okay. Now I'm going to put a bass line down. Now I'm in the key of E flat major. I've just chosen that key at random, but whatever key you're in, you need to know your scale for your backing vocals, or if you're having an instrument rather. I mean, I've got my violin with me here. If you're doing backing vocals, it's not overly necessary because you can kind of hear them as you're going. I work with this girl singer who is fantastic. Short-term memory is literally faultless. And she will go in and record some backing vocals just underneath the main vocal, and she'll record the same part 2 more times, but they'll literally be within a gnat's whisker of each other. It's that good. So there are a lot of advantages to doing it that way. So I'm going to just record the bass. Bass. There we go. Notes. I'm going to use notes here. In fact, I'm going to change the key to E flat major first so I can use the smart guitar. There we go. So, okay. Okay, there we go. There's the bass line. I'm just going to stick a guitar line down, and then I'm going to get some backing vocal, some lead vocals down. I've written some extremely corny lyrics, highly predictable lyrics. Yes, I would say copyright Dan Baker, but no. Okay, here we go then. I'm just going to do that rather than have the autoplay. So I'm just going to quantize that up because that was very questionable timing there. And I'm actually going to put I'm going to put an electric piano down so that it's just a bit of mid-range for me to use to sort of sing to. Electric piano, there we go. And find my chords. Little issue there. Okay. Okay, there's one or two little gremlins in there. I'm actually going to take the acoustic guitar away for the minute. Now, when you're writing something, when you're doing backing vocals over something, you want it to the backing to be absolutely spot on. And I'm actually going to just quantize the piano up as well. You can see an explanation of how to use GarageBand on other videos that I've made. So for various little sort of processes and techniques, and that's all on my channel. Please do subscribe. It's actually sounding better without the guitar there. Maybe I could just bring the guitar in for the chorus line, because that's another way of augmenting that chorus, is to say, well, actually, I'm just going to bring the... Let's have a look. Let's just quantize that up, make sure that's all there. Oh, yes, I did that before. So I'm just going to split it at that point, get rid of what came before, and then just bring in the acoustic guitar for the chorus. Now, there's an issue with the keyboard there. Yes, there was a couple of chords wrong there, so I'm just going to edit my line. It was those first two chords there. There's always one. Okay, that'll do. So now I'm going to record a lead vocal part. Now I'll need a pair of headphones for this. I've looked in my studio and the piece of kit that I want is to hand. How lovely. So I'm going to now record just with the internal mic. I'm going to sing my track. Now I'm going to just have a little look at the fun and clean. There we go. That is basically no processing at all on the vocals when I play it back, because ideally I don't want that. So I'm just going to sing a line and then try and harmonise that. When I saw you there, my heart went into overdrive. No? Okay. Just gonna... When you there... Oh, it's twice as slow. Okay, here we go. When I saw you there, my heart heart went into overdrive, but you ran away without a glance, setting me along a road into a dive. Come back, spend time, find your love for me. Come back, it's too long, I can't live another day without you. All right, okay. Yep, okay, that will do. So now I've got to listen back to that. When I saw you there. Got to listen back to that now and decide what needs doing and where. Now, of course, you know, I've made this in, what are we now, 11 minutes or whatever, 10 minutes. So, you know, this is just a process. Feel free to take the chord sequence and the lyrics if you really want. So, when I saw you there. That when I is a little bit late there. So, when I... not much I can do about that at the moment. Maybe I can... When I saw you there. That's okay, it's the beginning of the verse. So, because it's the verse, I want to keep everything quite spacious. Now, I've got some options here. I could go the chorus hook line, the come back, spend time, come back, spend time. Let's start with those. So, my chords are C minor, come back, and then spend time is on G minor, find your love for me. Find your love for me. Find your love. So what I could do this in stages. I could do the come back, spend time, and then record the other bits separately. Now this is the slight disadvantage if you're doing it sort of short-term memory-wise. You want to sort of practice with it and make sure that it's going to work. So I could record some vocals above that or below it, but it's quite high already. Come back, come back, spend time. Maybe I could leave the Find Your Love for Me. I could leave that without any backing vocals, or I could put some violins with it or something. So maybe the come back, spend time, maybe the song could be called Come Back. I don't know. So what I could do now is just think of the harmony part that goes underneath that. Come back, spend time. So that's what I'm going to record. Now, when I put this down, I'm going to record 3 harmony parts. Now, I've done an explanation of why on another channel, on another video on my channel rather. But really what you want to do is to try and make those backing vocals in sort of a, maybe in a sort of a stereo way. We've got loads of tracks on here, masses. So there's so much that you can do here. So I'm going to put 3 parts of come back, spend time. Now, I've done this without any music theory, without writing anything down. We're in E flat major and the chorus is C minor and G minor. If you're recording violin parts or any other instrument parts or piano parts, then yes, the theory does come into play. And I'm going to go through that in a second once I've done these vocals. So I'm just going to record 3 of the come back, spend time. Now, on GarageBand, I'm actually going to give myself a bar in so that I can get my timing. And also, it means that I won't cut the beginning off. Be along a road into a dive. Come back, spend time. So I actually recorded a bar earlier than I pressed record a bar earlier than I really needed to, because it gives you a bar count in anyway. So it's going to get another track there. Okay, here we go. Into a dive, come back, spend time. And third track of that. Now, why 3? Well, if you consider a symphony orchestra, you'll never have the flutes, you'll never have two flutes playing the same line, for example. It will be three of them. You know, it's just something that it can grate with two, especially if you're panning them, because there's more chance of little timing errors. Whereas if you've got one backing vocal that sort of nestles in between those other two, it just gives it a nice chorusy sound. So here's the third part. Into a dive, come back, spend time. Now, hopefully, the timing of those backing vocals will be adequate, because actually it makes a massive difference, and it can really grate if it's not right. So I'm just going to listen to the lead vocals and the backing vocals together. Come back, spend time. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's one approach. You just think of a harmony line that will go underneath just those four words. Find your love for me. Here comes the next bit. Come back, it's too long. Come back, it's too long. Come back, it's too long. That's what I'm gonna record. And so, come back, it's too long. Just got to listen to that line to make sure that the "it's too long," the notes are there, that I know what I'm going to sing to. Come back, it's too. Come back, it's too. Come back, it's too. Come back, it's too. Come back, it's too long. Come back, it's too long. Okay, so I'm going to record another one of those. It's nice and easy now because I've got the tracks set up. Come back, it's too long. Come back, it's too long. And then the third and final. Come back, it's too long. Okay, let's see what that chorus sounds like as an entity now. So next thing I'm going to do is record some string parts, and this time I'm going to drag out the old music theory to try and realise some of those as well. Into a dive, come back, spend time, find your love for me. Come back, it's too long. I can. Okay, so I haven't done any processing or reverbs on the vocals or anything yet. I'll do that when I'm finished. Although sometimes when you're recording parts, it is nice to have just a few little touches so that you can engage with the music. So actually, thinking about it, I'm going to stick a bit of treble and reverb on that main vocal with a bit of compression as well, so that it really is above those backing vocals. So if I just... Come back, it's too long. So I'm just going to take the backing vocals down a little bit as well. At the same time, you can pan them. So, for example, this one I'm going to send to the left, but not all the way, and that one to the right, but not all the way. It's too long. That compression is a little bit heavy on the lead vocal there, but just... Come back, it's too long. That'll do me for now. So I'm going to leave the verse. When I saw you there. I'm going to leave the verse untouched, actually, because you really do have to think if the verse needs something, then yes, record it. If it doesn't need something, don't put something down on it, because it can actually ruin everything. So the chorus is where you want to sort of make that hook. Come back, spend time. You know, do something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some strings over where the vocals are on their own. Come back, spend time, find your love for me. So find your love for me. I'm going to put some string chords down, but I could also put a line down as well that's not actually part of the vocal. So what I mean by that, if I just close these pages down here, in fact what I'll do is while I'm talking about that, I'm going to set up 3 more tracks. So I could do a line, you know, a string line, or I could do some string chords. There's all sorts of possibilities, and the good thing about this, of course, is that you can undo anything. If you don't want it, you can get rid of it. So I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to do a string line, and then under the second one, the Can't Live Another Day Without You, the very last bit of vocal, I'm going to put some chords. So I'm going to do 2 different things underneath that chorus, so you can sort of realise the possibilities of each. So, come back, spend time, find your love for me, find your love for me, find. Now comes the music theory bit. We're on that particular chord where the vocals are on their own, where the 2 chords is F minor and G minor. Now, you can find the notes on a piano by using the circle of fifths. Now, I've looked at that. There's a link below in the description box to find any chord, find the notes in any chord without having to read any music. Lots of people don't read music, and that's fine. You know, Paul McCartney can't read music, but, you know, well... So being able to read music is not the be-all and end-all, but it does help, especially if you want to get a string section in your studio. If you want to get a cellist or a violinist to play parts, usually they will be, well, 9 times out of 10, they will be music readers. So if you can write something down, it doesn't have to cut down on the time. You know, trying to sort of communicate ideas over a talkback mic can be quite tricky. So I've got my violin here. So the scale, although I said that the chords are F minor and G minor, the parent key is E flat major. Usually helps to tune your instrument as well. So the parent key is E flat major. Obviously sat in the cold a bit too long. Okay, that'll do for now. So, F minor and G minor. Find your love for me. Come back. It could be a line that goes after that Find Your Love for Me. A bit like I play. I mean, I improvise something over that, but it's in E flat major, so. Find your love for me. Now, although the notes work over these chord sequences, there are some notes that won't work too well over each individual chord. Like G minor, for example, that E flat doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of, maybe I could sing a line and then try and realise it on the violin. Find your love for me. Maybe I'll just record that. Perhaps. So let's pick up my trusty pair of headphones. So everything that I'm doing is kind of short-term memory stuff. And of course, when you've got, I'm going to do some chords at the end and explain the harmony with those final chords. So here's just the line on its own. So find my track. Spend time, find your love for me. So 2 more of those. I'm just going to keep the violins, with 3 parts like the backing vocals. Spend time, find your love for me. Spend time, find your love for me. so if I just listen to that line, make sure it's sort of, make sure those three parts are together. So just bring that back to the mix. You can see my little waveforms down here. Find your love for me. Yeah, that'll do. So now I'm going to record, I've got 3 tracks, so I'm going to record some chords at the end. So I Can't Live Another Day Without You, this is. I can't live another day without you. Now, there are 2 things here. I mean, obviously, this main vocal was a first take, and I only wrote it about 5 minutes ago, or whenever, 5 minutes before this session. So, I can't live fitting the words in. I can't live another day without. I can't live another day without you. I could do some chords that pertain to the rhythm of that vocal. So I've got an F minor chord and a B flat major chord. Those are my 2 chords that I'm going to record some chords over. Now I'm going to write one line out in treble clef for myself, so that, and then I can harmonise with that. So I've got E flat major, there's my 3 flats. So I can live another day. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba, ba. And then without you. Ba, 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 ba. I could sort of mirror the I could mirror the vocal line there with the, so bum 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 bum. Now what I've done here is I've said, okay, well, F minor. Now F minor has an F, an A flat and a C in the basic chord of F minor. Now with my string parts, I'm actually going to just use those notes. You can get really more complicated with the harmony, but really you've got to be a bit careful there that it doesn't take over. We want this to have a hook line and to remain a sort of, you know, predictable in a way. So I've got F, C, A flat, C, F, C, C. Ba, 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 ba. Bum, ba, bum, and then a G and an F. Now, the last chord of B flat major, I've got a G, which isn't strictly in the chord of B flat major, but it's in the scale. B flat has a B flat, a D, and an F in it. But I've got that sort of, that G, which is the 6th, so it's like a B flat 6th chord. I could do that on the strings as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the first line. Just to save time, I'm only going to do 1 part of each instead of 3 parts of each. If I was doing lots of strings in a studio, I'd say, oh, let's just stick 3 down of each. It gives the engineer then, or the producer, some options, whether to have a small string section or a large string section. So I'm going to just put down that line. Bum, 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 bum. Now I'm going to just sort of be quite light with those strings at the end as well. I'm not going to go sort of hammer and tongs with the sort of, you know, I don't want it to sound like Faulty Towers. So, okay, here we go. Too long, I can't live another day without you. Okay, I rushed that. Always, if there's something wrong with a particular part, don't think that you can fix it in the mix, because you can't. Okay. Too long, I can't live another day without you. I'm still rushing it. Too long, I can't live another day without you. Now, part of the timing could could be the vocal that I recorded. If that was a little bit uncertain, it'll come out in the other parts as well. So only be sure if you're, if you're recording the lead vocal, you've got to really make sure that it's absolutely bang on to play too. And that's going to be my second part. Now, what I've done with that is I've simply taken the chord of F minor, which is F, A flat and C. I've got an F at the top here, so my next note down is going to be the C, and then my next note down from that's going to be the A flat, and then I'm going to track the top part with the next note down in the chord. So instead of bum 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 bum, it'll go bum 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 bum. So I'm going to write them in as I go, because it's actually quite hard to track a line. Track a middle line of a three-part sort of score. Of course, you can write these out separately if you like. So I'm going to just stick the second part down. Too long, I can't live another day without you. Once again on that. I can't live another day. It's a bit weird with the timing of that. Do you know what? I'm going to record it again, that top part, but this time I'm going to mute the main vocal, because I think that's where the problem lies. Because I need to hear the backing track more securely. Too long. Okay, that's better. I'm going to record the second part now. I'm going to do all the string parts, then bring the vocal back in. Too long. And then lastly, the bottom part. Too long. And there we go. There are your backing vocals. All that there. Sorry, backing strings there now. So I'm going to play these back through the speakers and see what those sound like. Now, of course, I'd spend a bit more time on this with the tuning. Now I'm going to bring in the backing vocals, the lead vocal, and I'm going to go from just before the chorus. In fact, no, I'm going to go 2 bars, 4 bars before the chorus, so you can hear the difference between the verse and the chorus. She ran away without a glance, setting me along a road into a dive. Come back, spend time, find your love for me. Come back, it's too long. I can't live another day without you. Okay, there is a process of how to go about some backing vocals and some backing strings there. And I hope that provides some sort of insight into how to get started at least.